Wrestling fans, welcome to the Big Smodge this week. I'm Scotty Bender alongside superstar Rob Schulz.
Yes!
And the big guy.
Yo.
We were wrestling last week, and we are still quarantined. As you can see, we are at our undisclosed locations. And how's everyone doing? Everyone staying healthy?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. We won't know yet, right?
No.
We'll find out in a little while if we're no good.
Yeah.
Hope so.
So we're going to talk the future of wrestling the next few months, because it's kind of weird, kind of like this podcast. It's not really the normal. There's wrestling that's been taped when you could still have wrestling in the state of Florida. We're getting to the point where what's going to happen next, Scotty?
Yeah, I personally think it's going to shut down. I think it's going to go to a situation where they're just going to take a break from it. Again, you see the cases in Florida are rising, and Florida, I think, is going to become a hotbed of this virus. And I don't mean that in any joking manner. And I just think that for the safety of the workers and just everybody involved, I think that they are going to go on a hiatus, and at least for 30 days and let this hopefully settle down. And then come back and just kind of pick up from where they left off.
It is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think we might see more like backstage segments, things like that. I think it's pretty cool on Raw where you get a lot more development, even though you're only getting 2 or 3 matches a night. Wrestling isn't quite a sport, but at least when I think about it, I kind of put it in the same vein as those. And with baseball, you can have a short season. That's been done before. Same thing with hockey and basketball, stuff like that. I am a NASCAR fan. I don't know what they're doing about that because they have different tracks they got to go to. Wrestling, that's something that never gets an off season, and they've got programs they have to adhere to and things, places they want to be in a couple months. I don't know. I think, Joe, you said that they were going to try to do some stuff from Connecticut, maybe?
Yeah, so there's a chance they'll do stuff from Stamford at their headquarters, WWE. But even then, it won't be wrestling. It'll be, Bryan and Saxton throwing 2 matches from 2 years ago. I don't know what AEW will do. They don't have the huge library of matches to show. That might get really redundant if they're showing stuff from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. You said that the WWE's got that deep vault of matches and all the WrestleMania, SummerSlams, and just all the broadcasting done over many, many years, plus all that footage from the different ads that they've accumulated over the years. But you're right, with AEW, it's going to get old quick, and I don't know what they're going to do to sustain to, you're like you said, Joe, they're going to show matches, from 2 months ago. I mean, they're still fresh in everyone's mind, and that could get old. But
and then there's Impact. Everyone loves Impact, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm starting to. Yeah. I want to get. Yeah. I follow it on Facebook, and I follow it, in the dirt sheets, but. I got to start watching it. I'm kind of interested. Caught my attention.
So they taped a bunch at once, and I think they have about 3 weeks left. And at least in their case, they also have 10 years of wrestling they can go to full time. It's Ring of Honor, similar situation. They're already showing classic stuff.
They showed the one match actually was really good with Kevin Owens and El Generico from Briscoe Brothers for the title, and that was a really, really good match. They've gone here, like they've already started with the old matches going back in the vault.
Well, geez, if you do that, go best ofs or compilations of stuff, you can really stretch that out. You only got to really talk to one person. You get Best of Jericho. I don't know how much you can fill AEW wise, but he can talk for 4 hours straight, probably, Jericho, and be entertaining every second. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see more stuff like that.
And I got to tell you, the stuff that Ring of Honor has in the vault is a hell of a lot better than the crap that they've been showing on TV these days. So I welcome any of their old footage. I can't lie to you. I mean, so that's some of the matches they have are great. I mean, think of the people that have gone through Ring of Honor and where they are now. And I honestly, I would rather. I actually was more entertained watching the old stuff this past weekend than I would have been watching some of the stuff that they're showing now. That's really the hard truth.
Well, the old stuff is actually working on ESPN for WrestleMania. The last 2 Sundays, they showed WrestleMania 30 and 32.
Mm-hmm.
Drew like 800,000 viewers.
Wow.
Doesn't sound
That's a good amount.
But that was the highest rating for any show on ESPN on Sunday. We saw Fox Sports air the Royal Rumble this past Tuesday. And the future of WWE Network pay-per-views may end up on Fox Sports. They've got a deal to air WrestleMania this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Fox Sports app, you can buy WrestleMania for $59.99. What do you think? Network, $9.99.
Yeah, I probably
I think WWE could make more money with Fox, right?
Correct. Is running lean here, so what's going to make them more money? That's definitely on their minds, and I definitely could see that coming. I do agree.
This commercial break brought to you by Spectrum Internet. Be sure to sign up now because it's flawless. You didn't hear that either.
Did you hear that, Rob? All right.
We'll be back.
Found in sin, we say you're doing time. Now you stand on this last edge. What did you expect to find out?
Wrestling fans, welcome back to The Big Smile. I'm Scotty Bender alongside superstar Rob Schulz and the big guy. We're really not alongside each other because we are doing the podcast remotely, as you know.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, nothing goes wrong. It's just been so smooth as ice. Glass.
100% reliable.
Yes.
So big
before
week of wrestling. Lots of really good stuff this week, I thought.
Yes.
Starting with, Schultz mentioned him earlier, Chris Jericho at the top of his game.
Oh, it's awesome.
Dynamite.
I didn't know how he could top trying to recruit Vanguard 1 last week into the inner circle. And then this week, he's in a jacuzzi in his pants.
Finally, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Chris Jericho makes his appearance on Dynamite. But you might be wondering why I'm at home in my palatial estate with a little bit of the bubbly. And the reason for that is simple. Today,
let's watch that right now.
Is a holiday. Much like Martin Luther King Day honors the great doctor, and Veteran Day honors the great servicemen and women around the country, today is April Fool's Day. And I've never met a bigger group of fools in my life than the Elite. I mean, think about it. Kenny Omega, the biggest pumpkin-headed dipshit I've ever met in my life. Matt Hardy, dumbass kiss. He's 3,000 years old. Well, that's good because you're going to need another 3,000 years to get over the embarrassment and the beating that the inner circle gives you. Because don't forget, when this virus is done and everything goes back to normal and I allow fans back into the AEW arena, you're still going to have to face the inner circle in blood and guts. You're still going to have to face the inner circle in the most dangerous match known to man. Vanguard 1. I knew you'd come. We want you to wear the shirt. Just put it on, Vanguard, and become part of the inner circle. What do you say? I mean, look at this. You look good, Vanguard, huh? Are you in? Should we shake on it? Wait. Elbow to propeller. Huh? What
That's
do you say?
awesome.
Are you,
Really is.
You come back here! You come back, Vanguard!
I'm glad the shirt didn't fly off of there. It looked like it wanted to real bad with the power of Vanguard 1's propellers.
Get him! Get him!
I just want to comment about Chris Jericho, just in general, that, like you said, Robin, the big guy, he really has just done a great job. When he came over to AEW, when they first signed him, I've always been a big fan of Jericho, and, his mic skills are second to none. But he's really just done such an outstanding job with, as he was at the late champion, with Inner Circle, now these vignettes with Matt Hardy. I mean, he's definitely the MVP of that Fed right now, and it just gets better and better. And my hat goes off to him. He's like gets better. Like he's like fine wine, just gets better with age. And I got it's just very impressed with him.
In all of wrestling history, has there been a guy who has been that good for that long? I can't think of anyone right now.
It's not even a matter of just being that good. It's also just reinventing himself to, just to different genres. Now as an older wrestler, he's still very popular. With Judas, his song with Fozzy, and you see him when he comes into the arena, people are chanting the song, and he's hitting on all levels. Someone of my age is a fan, but then you've got a younger demographic that I'm sure is he's very popular with. So it's just he reinvents himself. It's just it sounds like I'm gushing over him, but I'm just really impressed. And
you gush away.
Yeah, no, I just am like he's a champion, and he's just funny, but it just works. And when he first started AEW, I'm like, oh, Jericho, okay, cool. And then I just watching him from week to week, it's just getting better and better and better. And he's just really, just done a fantastic job. So hats off to Chris Jericho.
Yeah, it's an excellent use of him too. They're not, WWE tends to run guys out there wrestle every week. Mm-hmm. Jericho just kind of does his promos, wrestles occasionally, and just lets his character carry the whole thing. And he's elevated people like Sammy and Jake Hager. I think they've been elevated just by being with Jericho. I think it's pretty cool.
100%. Yeah, it's a very good point.
We got a guy with like Sammy Guevara who doesn't have the size or the name recognition, and Hager who doesn't have the chops to speak, and they're both
personality.
Yeah, that too. Both replaced by Jericho. Just
going to stand right in his way, but Randy tried to pull him away. Look at that. They're not going to back down here at all. And he's going to turn his attention to the ring here. I don't know if he's going to get the microphone and tell him something or what's going to go on. Oh, the Exalted One, my God. Oh! With a wicked power bomb.
That's right, Brody.
Staring down the other member.
Oh, my God. He was...
making a point.
Boy, was he ever making
Brody.
a point.
Intensity.
The backstage stuff when he's talking about the yawning and, saying, my born use this. When you yawn, it shows weakness. Like, I could totally see the seeds of Vince in there. 8 and 9. I like how they're named 8 and 9. Have we seen 2 through 7?
Well, we've
of
seen
them
a
yet?
lot of guys.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of guys. They might have been 2 through 7.
Okay. I would like to see somebody...
Do you like him getting involved in jobber matches against probably the lowest ranked tag team of the natural whatever?
Yes, I do.
You love it.
I don't love it, but I like it. You know what it reminds me of, though, with the mask giving out? It reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen on NXT where they've been scooping up guys. They took Joaquin Wilde this week, and they took...
Raul Mendoza.
There you go. The other week, it reminds me of the same thing. I wonder where they're going with that. I don't know if you know what they're doing, but I'm interested to see where that's going. But yeah, I do like Brody Lee getting involved with that stuff. Yes.
I believe the NXT stuff is leading to El Hijo de Fantasma. Does that sound right, Bender?
Yes.
Good.
Oh. The son of Phantasm? Did I do that right?
For our English-speaking audience, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the other big things this week is what I think was possibly the return of the BikerTaker.
All the things you said about me, I get it. I do. It's just business. Where you crossed the line, though, was the first time you mentioned her. I think your pride is playing games with you again. I think you're mad because she does the Faith Breaker, a.k.a. the Styles Clash, better than you do. She got it over. No matter the reason, you're going to pay the ultimate price for disrespecting her. You want to be relevant at the Showcase of Immortals, WrestleMania. And who better to make that happen than The Undertaker? Try me. I'll make you famous. And I hope you bring those two ass clowns, Gallows and Anderson, with you. All three of you can feel the wrath of the unholy trinity I'm bringing with me. Just know you will feel the pain. You will get hurt. And you will suffer. And most importantly, you will
They're doing a good job building that.
rest in peace.
We should see him on a motorcycle, I hope, right? Can't be BikerTaker without a motorcycle.
Well, I mean, I meant Return of BikerTaker because I think this is the first time we've seen him outside of his Undertaker garb and returning to that look. Now, the hot rumor is this is also one of those matches that will be filmed a la the Compound match or the House of Horrors match. So, Boneyard, it may actually be outdoors somewhere.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, going back to the BikerTaker gimmick, I actually like this gimmick on him. As he's gotten older, I just felt like, I don't know, the Undertaker, the true Undertaker gimmick. I don't want to say it wasn't working for me, but I think as getting older, again, we talk about people reinventing themselves. I think this is a good path for him to go down. I think it works for him, being that he's older, and I just think this gimmick works. But that's just my opinion.
No, totally agree. I think it's kind of overdue. His, the beauty of his Undertaker gimmick is the entrance. Mm-hmm. Once he gets in the ring, he's a 52-year-old guy who wrestles once a year, and it kind of shows.
Undertaker's only 52?
He might be older.
Okay.
But I just think with his age, I just think it works better than, like you said, the old Undertaker who can't. I don't know. I think this is a good path for them. I think this is good.
Johnny drip drip. A lot of haters out there putting us on blast. When it's time to go, we roll like Miz Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Those turd cutters in the ring, we about to serve them. First up, we're trying to determine why you pandering clowns always scream the same sermon. You're not a new day, you're new version of Pee Wee Herman. We chose this business. I came back with a purpose. Without Daddy's cosign, the Usos would be worthless. How many spoons it take to make a dynasty into doo-doo? It only takes you two. Here we go. Miz and Morrison.
I was just going to say something along those lines as far as I was going to. I could have said it better. I agree with you 100% because I was kind of getting annoyed with him and like his character and stuff. I just was, it was grating my nerves. But now with Morrison,
Is it the return to Morrison, or is it just the return to him as a heel, where he's much better?
I never liked him as a heel alone. Like, Miz was a guy, and it was, as they used to call X-Pac heat for me with him. I never liked the Miz, and I don't think he was, just good at his job. I just can't stand the guy for whatever reason. But, I felt the same way about $1 Million Man when I was a kid, and he was doing his job well, so maybe I'm wrong. But, yeah, him being Morrison...
I think you're wrong. I think you're totally 100% wrong.
Yeah?
The Miz is awesome.
That's what his shirt says.
Maurice were feuding with Cena and Nikki, and they were doing those parodies.
I did like that.
And The Miz and Daniel Bryan, when Daniel Bryan couldn't wrestle and The Miz was just tearing him a new one and stealing his moves. The Miz is great.
Remember that show after SmackDown?
Talking Smack?
It was great.
Yeah.
So
Miz Talking Smack.
So just to kind of piggyback off what the big guy said, I agree. Miz has been a good heel, with promos and his character. However, I never really thought the Miz was really a great worker. Mm-mm. I think he's gotten a lot better from when he first started, so I give him a lot of credit. Like, he's definitely put the time in. But I think pairing him with Morrison, who's a better wrestler and more athletic, elevates his game. So I'm looking at that's a team going, yeah, they're a team versus like I'm like looking at Miz as an individual wrestler. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think with Morrison, it's elevated him as a wrestler to put him more, because I think Morrison's a really good wrestler. I think he's very athletic and he just does some really athletic things in the ring. And then you have his personality along with Morrison's, and that's just
to me.
It works.
Morrison feels like I buy like his whole thing, like his whole gimmick, like he's this big, Hollywood elite guy. But to Miz, it feels like he's like playing the part. But when they're together, it's almost like Morrison like kind of believes him, and they're on the same. Does that make sense at all?
No.
Like that's what it feels like to me.
You buy Morrison as a celebrity more than the Miz, who has a reality show and 5 Marine movies to his name? Come on!
Yes.
I will say this is the thing, again, I think WWE got it by putting these two back together, and I think that they're doing it. I want to say they hit a home run, but it was the right thing. It's working, because a lot of times they do things, and obviously, they get criticized for it, but these two together, it works, and I'm glad to see it.
All right, and we'll take a break, and when we come back, we've got some very special moments to share, and also we might talk about Chris Benoit.
Ooh, the crippler. Too soon.
Switches found in sand, we say you're doing time. Now you stand on this last edge. What did you expect to find out?
My name is Dennis Fagan. I run the security for World Wrestling, and one of our wrestlers that lives down there is missing.
Okay, what's his name?
Chris Benoit.
It was a particularly brutal and vicious murder. It was something that showed some sign of real rage.
Chris was just this gentle giant.
Nobody expects their friend to kill their family. Like, what?
I can't point my finger at one thing and say this is what caused my brother-in-law to snap.
Media's initial response was that this was a roid rage incident. If you get hit in the head thousands of times, your brain essentially can start to rot.
People need to understand that that was not him. He was my hero.
I need to talk about this. If you're going to say I'm glorifying a murder, stop listening now.
So there you have the trailer from the season premiere, Dark Side of the Ring, Chris Benoit story. What do you think, Bender?
I actually just watched it last night. Coincidentally, watched part 1 and part 2, and I when I say I enjoyed it, I enjoyed the story. Obviously, I don't enjoy the tragedy. Right. I just want to make sure that we understand that. It was really that was done well. It was interesting. Just to go back and relive that whole situation and what led up to it, and what was also really nice about the thing was about Eddie Guerrero. They had quite a bit about Eddie in there and their relationship, and I didn't realize. I knew they were close, but I didn't realize how close they really were. Watching this, and how when Eddie died, how it really sent Benoit on a path, and it's just between the CTE and just the steroids and just his unable to cope with the death of Eddie. It just was a recipe for disaster. And I'm not saying anyone could have foreseen this outcome of him, killing his wife and kids, and then taking his own life. But they're just the help. He needed help, and there's just no help to be found for him. And it's just a very tragic, sad story. To the great, in my opinion, wrestlers, both gone. It's just very sad. It was just very sad to see.
Yeah, and like you said, it was well produced.
Yes,
I don't know if there
Jericho
was
did a great job.
Yeah, Jericho does the narration. He
Mm-hmm.
also was interviewed. Dean Malenko and Chavo, both heavily featured. Vicky Guerrero.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Vicky. Yeah.
They
Linda's
actually had
sister.
footage
woman's
from
sister.
the Raw after where they did the Chris Benoit memorial footage that is kind of I don't think you'll ever see it on the WWE network, so that was kind of cool to see that. And I think the best thing about this is it's made it okay to talk about Chris Benoit. I see a lot of people on the internet engaging, talking about Benoit, talking about some of his matches, so it's kind of a good thing to maybe come out of this Dark Side of the Ring.
I 100% agree. And again, such a tragedy. I mean, I can't put into words. I mean, no one can understand what was going through his mind, why he did that. I mean, they alluded to problems, previously with him abusing, Linda or woman there. But I'm not going to excuse him for what he did. However, I truly, truly believe, between the abuse of the steroids and just the CTE. I mean, I remember him when he was talking to Christopher Nowinski, and he said, "How many concussions have you had?" And Chris Nowinski, I think he said, "Oh, I've had like 6, 7, or 8 or something like that. I don't remember." But then he said, "When have you had it?" And Chris Benoit said, "I don't know. I can't count that high."
Yeah.
That's sad. I mean, that's just, and then reliving. They also went back in, when Chris Nowinski was on, they were showing the chair shots that they used to do back then. It's unbelievable to the fact that I remember as a kid or, growing up watching wrestling and seeing the wrestlers taking these vicious, vicious chair shots and not thinking much about it. And now, they don't even go to the head anymore. It's all in the back. But just to think about what those wrestlers went through, and it's unbelievable. And yeah.
What is this on, the Dark Side of the Ring?
It's on Vice TV. You can watch it on Vice, the cable channel, or vicetv.com.
Okay.
The latest episode was on New Jack. And the episode next week is on the Brawl for All.
Yes.
Speaking of things that no one knows why, it's time for Schulzie Explains It.
Yeah.
Our weekly segment where Rob Schulz gets to explain a great moment in wrestling history. And it's going to be a softball this week, Rob.
Okay. See if I can't ground into double play.
So
he's quick. He's got time to go put his Oreo uniform on.
Thinking about Ric Flair, Jay Lethal, TNA Impact, go.
Okay, so all right. So Ric Flair reforming the Four Horsemen basically in TNA, but he was calling it Fortune with the emphasis on fortune. Get it? So Jay Lethal would come out and he was talking to Flair in the ring, doing a Ric Flair impersonation basically, and Jay Lethal comes out and he goes, "Did I hear you say someone talk about fortune?" And Ric Flair was like, "Who's this guy?" And it was perfect. They went back and forth. By the time it gets to the woos back and forth, like that's enough for me. But everything leading up to that is just awesome. They're both, throwing shoes, dropping elbows on coats. Jay Lethal does a wonderful Ric Flair impression, but we got some good stuff out of Ric Flair here too. Like, it's become one of my favorite lines of his, where he was talking about, Jay Lethal says, they're going to tear down Space Mountain. And then Ric Flair goes, "Oldest ride, longest line." That's enough. Loved it.
And
very good. Good stuff.
That's how we play Schulzie Explains It All. It's time for Bender's Hot Button.
Could be anything.
Ooh. Yeah, it could be. Well, this hot button. I was going to come into this with one thought, but now I'm going to kind of glump two things together. So the first thing is I'm going to go back to the Chris Benoit Dark Side of the Ring. Chris Benoit kind of was. I understand that when this all happened, they didn't want to talk about him, and they wanted to erase him from the history of the WWE. The problem I have with that is for what he did, he made that era, and he really, really helped put WWE. I don't want to put him on the map, but when that time when he won the title, and by tapping out Triple H, and then Eddie Guerrero came out and they hugged, and it was just such a special moment. And again, I understand he did was a tragedy, but I'm also knowing that he had a lot of other issues, and it had nothing to do with business. And the business is wrestling, and it pains me to think that his whole existence is just erased. And I know there's arguments out there for what he did. How can you, Bender? What do you mean? Look what he did. He murdered his family. And I get all that, but that had nothing to do with business. Wrestling is the business, and he should be remembered for what he did for the business and for wrestling. And for that, he should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Probably never going to happen, but that just, makes me very upset because of how great of a wrestler and the odds that he overcame being a smaller guy and where he came from, and just the whole path that he took to get to where he was and winning a championship. No one ever thought a guy with that stature was ever going to win a championship. You go back, it was always about the big guy, but he went and did things that, back then you would never conceive. So I'm just very, very staunch advocate for him to be in the Hall of Fame. And again, I'm just trying to separate business from personal. And in business, he was a great wrestler. And that kind of leads me to a second thing. Then I happened to, while I'm watching, I went and watched the murder Bruiser Brody and his whole situation of how he was murdered by, the Invader, and all these, that whole situation. And another great mind of wrestling, a man who was before his time, just taken away from us too early. I don't understand how they got away with murder. I don't understand how, and this, granted it was years ago, but the fact that he was murdered and all these witnesses and nothing happened to the people that committed the murder is beyond me. And it makes me very angry when I watch it, because I'm a huge Bruiser Brody fan. And I just, it's very sad to think that, when you watch the story and his wife was at home and the Dutch Mantel and it's just awful. And, it's just to watch. It was very surreal when, I watched The Dark Side of the Ring and Bruiser Brody die. And wrestlers, they do die at a young age. And I don't know, I always knew that things happened, but it just struck me really badly. It made me sad. But anyways, I don't know if it's more of a rant, but yeah, put Benoit in the Hall of Fame. That's it.
We got a double button.
Yeah, double button, double.
How about Snuka? Is he in? Or was he?
Snuka is a Hall of Famer and only suspected of murder, but we'll find out in 2 weeks when Dark Side of the Ring covers the Jimmy Snuka trial.
Oh.
So that'll be a future hot button.
But yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring, you just want to put a plug out there for anyone listening. Definitely go check those out there. It took me a while to get turned on to them because I didn't, but yeah, so far I'm like, now I'm hooked.
Yeah, it's a great show. Everyone should watch.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to say goodbye. I think we lost.
Bye.
All right. No, I'm here.
Oh, you're frozen.
Am I still frozen?
No.
Oh, good. Very good. Well, wrestling fans, I'll say goodbyes. It's always a pleasure seeing you guys and talking wrestling this week, and look forward to next week, and we'll see how WrestleMania goes. It's going to be very, very interesting, unprecedented in the history of WrestleMania to see and watch it. And I miss having you guys. I miss watching you guys because we always used to get together and watch together. And I miss sitting with our old friend Ivy the Impaler. So,
yep.
Yeah. So
2 years ago, we're up in his hospital room watching WrestleMania. I'm so pumped for WrestleMania. We get to see 2 WrestleManias. Yeah.
I cannot. My thing is, I really want to see how well or bad Gronk does. That's really what I'm interested in.
He's coming off a big loss. He was just booted off The Masked Singer, so. He's got to try to rebound from that.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, there's certain things like, you know, obviously you want to see the matches, but there's things I want to see, and that's one of them. I'm very curious.
And on that note, thanks for
watching.
See you down the road.
Yeah, catch you down the road.
All right, guys. Peace. See ya.
Peace.
Schmaz it up. Everyone schmaz it at home.
What's your problem?